So in this video, I want to talk about some of the strategies that you can use to save a little bit more money. I kind of got this idea when I saw that 40% of Americans could not afford a $400 emergency, and then 60% could not afford a $1,000 emergency, which could lead to some things like having to sell something you really need to live or putting yourself in unnecessary debt to make the payment. So let's just get right into it. The first thing you can do is to set a goal. Set a savings goal, how much you want to save by the end of the year, and then break that down into little smaller goals. So say you want to save $6,000 by the end of the year, you know that's $500 a month. So know that you have to take $500 out of your paycheck every month in order to reach your goal of $6,000 by the end of the year. What you can even do is write it next to your calendar. So say you get paid weekly. Every Friday you get paid, you have to write $115 gotta take out of my check every week in order to reach that goal by the end of the year. And then keep track of it for all 52 weeks of the year. And if you stay on task, you'll have the $6,000 you want by the end of the year. The second tip is just be organized. I know people that work out of one checking account, and it just gives me a headache because I know I could not keep track of that. I wouldn't know where my money's going. I wouldn't know how it's in my savings, how much I need for this, how much I need for that. I just couldn't do it. So open up a separate savings account for just money you want to save. You can even go as far as maybe opening up 2 checking accounts, one for necessities and one for wants, or something along those lines. Another way you can be organized is just by having a budget. A popular budget is 50-30-20, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. Basically, it just says 50% goes to your necessities, 30% goes to your wants, and then 20% goes to savings or investing. I will be making a video about this in the future and going a little more in depth in it and my thoughts on it and how maybe it can be tweaked, or just my 2 cents basically. The third tip you can use is to set up automatic withdrawals. Now, this is good for people that feel like they need to spend money. They see $1,000 in their checking account, they just need to spend it. They feel like they can spend it. It doesn't matter because it has no value to them just sitting there. This would be good because it's basically like you have the money but you don't have it. So basically how it works is you'll just put in all your bank account information, and when the time comes you get paid, immediately it will just come right off the top and it'll go into a different account, which would be a different savings account. I look at this almost kind of like a tax because you never see the money, so you don't even know you have the money, that type of thing. The fourth tip is to print out your credit card statement and highlight everything that is kind of like a want. So for example, say you go out to dinner, or you go out to drink with your friends like every weekend. Highlight all those, all the meals, all the drinks, the whole thing, and then see what you can cut back on. So say you spend $150 a weekend going out with your friends, and say you have 4 or 5 drinks, you always get an appetizer, a meal, the whole 9 yards. Say you can cut out the appetizer once or twice a month, you don't eat out, and then you only have, instead of 4 or 5 drinks, maybe you have 2. That $150 you spend a weekend is going to come down, probably cut in half, more than half I would say. And that's, say, if it is cut in half, then that's $300 a month that you're going to save just by simply cutting back, and you still get a pretty similar experience going out with your friends. The fifth tip is to cancel subscriptions you don't use. I don't know how many people I see that have Netflix, Hulu, and a gym membership. They haven't watched a movie in a year, they haven't watched a TV show in months, and they haven't been to the gym in I don't even know how long. So just cancel them. That comes up to, say you're paying $12.99 for Netflix, $5.99 for Hulu, and then $30 for a gym membership. That's just under $50 a month, which adds up over time. Say you took that $50 and you put it into some sort of S&P fund that follows the S&P, and you did that for 40 years, you would have about $165,000 just by doing that. And that's a lot better than just wasting it on those subscriptions that you're not using, because it's basically throwing money into a fire pit, at least in my opinion. The sixth tip is to look at the item you're about to buy in the hours you had to work to get that item. So in other words, let's say you make $20 an hour and you want to buy a $40 item. Ask yourself, is this worth 2 hours of work? Whatever you do for work, everything you had to scan through, everything you had to swipe, whatever it is that worth 2 hours of work? And a lot of times you're going to realize it's not. And when that's the case, just shut the laptop, walk away, and don't even worry about it. Don't buy it because you know it's not worth it. And the last tip I want to go over is just don't save your credit card to the site you shop on regularly. I know personally, sites I don't have my card saved on, it just seems like the hardest thing in the world to reach from my bed to my nightstand and type my card in. It just seems so inconvenient. I never want to do it. I don't know why. I'm sure a lot of people are like that. They just don't want to do it. And I saw a study that said 70% of Americans actually had impulsive purchases within the last year. So basically what it does is it just cuts out the impulsive purchases because you don't want to do it. I don't know why. I don't know why it works, but I feel like a lot of people are like that, and they just say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then they forget about it, and they end up saving money because they just don't want to do it because they realize it's not worth it. I really hope some of these tips are helpful. I hope some of you guys can implement some of them into your life and help yourself save some money and help you reach your savings goal. That's all I have for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. We have some good videos coming, and I'm really excited for where this channel is going to go.